Alrighty, bear wrestling at 3 on Thursday. Perfect. Hey, Brett McKay from theartofmanliness.com. Now I want you to think back to your past week. Do you feel like you made progress as a man, or that you wasted your time on mindless tasks and activities? Do you feel like you have no control over your life and your days are rushed and harried? Well then you, sir, should try planning out your week, and today I'm going to show you how. Come on. So the power of weekly planning lies in the perspective and control it provides for your life. Instead of drifting along, just doing whatever comes to your attention, you give yourself control and a bird's eye view of the maze below. Weekly planning allows you to manage the day-to-day and often trivial tasks along with your long-term plans and goals. You need to think of your weekly calendar as an attack plan for your life. It's where you hash out the tactics and logistics to make your long-term vision a reality. So pick a day that you'll use to establish your weekly attack plan. I think the weekend is a good time to do it because it allows you to both review the previous week's successes and failures and look ahead to next week. Set aside about an hour on your chosen day for planning. The first few times you execute a weekly attack plan session, it's going to take you a bit longer, but that's okay. So after a while, you're going to establish a rhythm, you'll know what you're doing, and you'll be able to breeze through these things in about 30 to 45 minutes. I also recommend you go somewhere where you can be alone and away from distractions. I like to do my weekly planning sessions on Sunday nights here in my home office. All right, so after you picked your weekly attack plan day, you need to pick your calendaring tool. Now, everyone has their own preference for what to use for calendaring. Some people prefer digital calendars like you find with iCalendar on Mac, Outlook, or Google Calendar. And others prefer using good old-fashioned pencil and paper to plan. If you're looking for a good pencil and paper weekly calendar, you can download the one that I created for myself when I was in law school by clicking the link below. It's free. So the first thing that I do in my weekly plan session is perform what I call a mind dump in order to free up mental RAM. So during the week, our minds build up a giant list of stuff that needs to be done. You need to call mom back, do the laundry, respond to your backlog of emails, study, whatever. The problem with these loose ends camping up in our craniums is that they're subtly eating up our willpower, causing us to feel stressed out and mentally fatigued. These unfinished mental tasks are like programs you have running on your computer, but you aren't actually using. I think we've all had those moments when you're working on your computer, the fan on your computer is running at full blast, and everything seems to be taking an eternity to load. So you check the activity monitor, only to see that a bunch of unused apps are hogging a crap load of memory, causing your World of Warcraft raid to screech to a halt. A mind dump is exactly what it sounds like. You get everything out of your head and onto paper or onto a computer screen. When you do this, you can actually feel your brain let out a sigh of relief as you write down the stuff that it's been spending precious willpower trying to remember. Use whatever tool you're comfortable with for a mind dump. It doesn't matter. I know several people who use a notebook and pen, others that use digital tools like OmniFocus, Things, Nosebee, Evernote, or a Word document. The one that I've been using lately is called To Do. The important thing is to simply have a place where you can store your mind dump. Once you settle on a capture tool, simply start writing or typing all the tasks, ideas, and commitments that have been weighing you down during the previous week. Seriously, when you do this, it's like a laxative for your brain. You just want a diarrhea over a notebook paper, mental diarrhea. All right, after you've done your mind dump, you're gonna review the previous week. So reflect on your previous week and how you performed in your various roles as a man. How did it go? Did you achieve the goals you set for yourself? What were your successes and failures? How could you have done things differently? Any tasks or items you need to follow up on? I recommend writing down any thoughts that come to you during your reflection of the previous week in a journal of some sort. Could be a notebook, could be a Word document. The reason is this. First, the act of writing helps make your thoughts more concrete and well thought out. And second, by writing down your observations about the previous week, you can create a record that you can look back to see if you're actually making improvements. Set weekly goals. So we all have different roles we fill as men. What I like to do is every week I create a goal that I want to accomplish within each role that I have as a man, that I've figured out for myself. So for example, a goal for my role as a husband could be to write my wife a love letter or take her out on a date. A goal for my role as a writer could be to check out and read a book about improving my writing. In addition to these role-based goals, make sure you also set what Stephen Covey calls sharpening the saw goals. So as you saw away your goals, the proverbial blade is going to become dull. So you have to take time to sharpen it up. Thus, sharpening the saw goals are all about keeping yourself sharp in all aspects of your life, physically, mentally, socially and emotionally, and spiritually. So I try to create a weekly goal for improvement in all of those 4 areas. So a weekly physical goal could be to bench press X amount of weight. A mental goal could be to read a book or listen to a lecture on your commute to work. A social goal could be to write your college bud a letter or give them a call and set something up when you guys go out. And a spiritual goal could be to meditate every day for 15 minutes or to pray every day. Lay a foundation for success with reoccurring time blocks. After I set my goals for the coming week, I move on to putting them in my calendar. So I first block off time on my weekly schedule for my sharpening the saw goals. Again, these are small and simple things that help me feel sharp no matter what sort of chaos happens during the week. So I have time blocked off for exercising, for the gym, reading, and prayer and meditation. And an important part of keeping your saw sharp is weekly and daily planning, so I block off time for that too. And I treat these events like doctor's appointments. I don't schedule anything else during these times and don't deviate from them unless it's an absolute emergency. Plan your big rocks. So we've talked about big rocks here on our videos before. If you haven't already, I recommend you check out the video I did a few months ago about what big rocks are. In a nutshell, big rocks are the most important task in your life. So what you need to do is you plan your big rocks first, your most important task of the week, and then you plan everything else around those big rocks. So what are your big rocks? It's going to be different for every person. You want to look at your mind dump list and pick 3 or 4 items that you consider to be your most important task and put those on the calendar first. So if you're a student, a big rock could be setting aside time for reviewing your notes, studying, reading. So if you're not in college, but you're out in the working world, a big rock for you would be setting aside time to research, outline, and write a memo that's due in a few days. All right, now that you have your big rocks in, it's time to block out time for other tasks. You want to put in the sand and the gravel of life. So take a look at your list of items you captured during your mind dump and block out time to accomplish those tasks. So for example, if you need to get the oil on your car changed, or you need to pick up a shirt you dropped off at the dry cleaners, or you need to do grocery shopping, you need to clean the house. So my goal by the end of my planning session is to have every one of my waking hours of every day of the week blocked out with something. I want it all scheduled. Now don't get the wrong idea. I'm not constantly doing something every minute of the day. I mean, I also schedule time for doing absolutely nothing so I can just sort of relax, have some buffer between different tasks. Also, if I was doing something every minute of the day, I would probably get burnt out. But I like to at least have an outline of how I'm going to spend my time during the week. Review and adjust your weekly attack plan daily. So even the best laid plans need adjusting, and that's why daily planning is so important. So every evening, I'll review my calendar and make adjustments as needed. I try to avoid rescheduling my sharpen the saw and big rock events and goals, but I move everything else around on my calendar with gusto. Now, if you want to see success come from your weekly attack plan sessions, you have to do them consistently. And I'll admit that I've had my moments where I've fallen off the wagon with my weekly planning, and my wife, Kate, can usually tell when I haven't been planning my week out because I get really unproductive and I get sort of grouchy. I'm just totally off my game. I just don't function well without the structure of a weekly plan. Well, there you go. That's how I planned my week out. Hopefully that provided some inspiration, some food for thought for you. I promise you, as you consistently plan out your week, you'll find yourself with more motivation, direction, and peace in your life. Until next time, this is Brett McKay telling you to stay manly. Hey, it's me again. If you're looking for a tool to help you plan out your weeks and day, definitely recommend you check out our Benjamin Franklin Virtues Journal. You can find this at store.artofmanliness.com. It's based on Benjamin Franklin's journal that he created for himself as a young man. It'll help you be a more productive man, but also a more virtuous man.